Hey book lovers, today we're going to be talking about covers, specifically diverse covers. Do you need a white guy on your book to buy it? No. White girl? Me neither. So we're going to share some awesome book covers and talk a little bit about it. Keep watching.
By the book, no, I do my own thing. That's why every single hook got them singing like me. And I ain't in any rush, cause I'm finally getting paid. Don't believe in any luck, I believe I'm self-made.
Some of you might have heard that Riptide ended up with a big issue. They've been touted as one of the most diverse publishers in the small pub community, but apparently they weren't treating all their diverse authors the same as their other authors, and there was some very problematic practices. After this, some editors were let go, apologies were issued, they're going to be reframing everything, blah blah blah, whatever. We'll see what happens. That's irrelevant right now. I want to focus on those beautiful covers that many of us see and we grab the book. But there's still this belief out there that diversity on covers doesn't sell. Having a black guy on a cover won't sell. Having a black woman on a cover, people will pass it over. And I disagree. I think that beautiful artwork will draw the eye. I think that the publishers and authors who have ignored those who keep repeating this as if it's the truth are proving that if you have a beautiful cover with diversity on it, not only are people who are looking for books like this, people who need that diversity to represent them, going to grab it, but anyone who wants a different story, who wants to explore something beyond their own lives, will be interested. I think that that's logical. If we speak up and demand that kind of diversity, it will happen more. This is my effort to showcase these beautiful covers. For my own work, I actually had Dominic Mason, who is a black hockey player with the Dartmouth Cobras. He was on the original cover, and the cover's style has changed, so I decided I was going to start doing just single people on the cover. There are not many stock photos of black men out there, and looking for an athletic black man that looks like a hockey player, you're going to run into some trouble for some reason. And maybe because there's still that belief that people aren't looking for them, which isn't true. So if you're a photographer and you do stock photos, make sure that you're giving diversity as well, because authors are looking for it. Every day I see authors asking for recommendations for where they could find some more diversity. They're tired of the white guy with blonde hair and blue eyes. There's plenty of those. We don't need more. Give us something else. Anyway, so since I couldn't find stock photos that fit for Dominic, I hired a photographer who found the perfect model, and we used his image for the cover of Goal Line. Thankfully, I was able to find an amazing photographer who is really, really great at finding talent. So if you're ever looking for a photographer, Jen LeBlanc is amazing, and I highly recommend her if you're ever looking for something other than stock photos. So I'm going to show you Goal Line along with covers of books that I've either read or are by authors that I really love. So here you go. My own book, Goal Line. Mischief in the Masters by Cherie Sinclair. Lilith's Brood by Octavia Butler. The Smell of Camellias by Remy Duchesne. Wild Blue by Susan Hayes. Spirit of the Pryde by T.J. Michaels. I also did a shout out on Facebook asking for recommendations, and I got some of these beauties, and yeah. Echo by Alicia White. Behind the Bars by Brittany C. Cherry. The Fire Test by E.R. Ross. All the Way by Giselle Renard. Cowboy in Paradise by Hildy McLean. I'm grabbing books like crazy, and I'm so excited to read these. A beautiful cover doesn't necessarily tell you what's inside the book, but there is something that will draw you in. There's something that you can tell when an author has a beautiful cover, that they either work with an artist who has an amazing vision for their story, or they had a publisher that cared enough to put on the cover what really represents the book. And I think that's important. I want to read a book and look at the cover and say, yes, this shows me the story. I don't want to look at a cover and, okay, is this white guy on the cover the mailman? Because nobody in this book is white. It's ridiculous. If you're trying to sell more books by putting a certain person on the cover that's not representative of the book, you're lying to the audience. Are they supposed to pretend that all the characters are white? I think that's ridiculous, personally. But we're going to enjoy looking at these beauties. The Blazing Star by Imani Josie. I Need You Tonight by Stina Lindenblatt. His Convenient Husband by Robin Covington. Shorn by Selena Kitt. Still by Kennedy Ryan. I Believe in a Thing Called Love by Maureen Gu. So, how do we end up with more books like this, more covers that truly represent the diversity of the world, which thankfully is in many, many books by some incredible authors who we see fighting against some disgusting odds, it's systematic racism. We know what it is, and we can't keep not talking about it and pretending that it's okay. It's not. And the only way that we're going to change that is by speaking up, and not just waiting until people of color speak up and say, hey, listen to us. Sometimes it's, hey, listen to them. Sometimes you need to raise your voice as well to make sure that they have the space when nobody else is listening, when everyone else is saying, oh, it's not a problem anymore. It's 2018. Racism isn't a problem. It's all gone. Yeah, no, that's not true. It may never be true. But the only way things become more fair and racism is not so comfortable being in your face as it is more and more now, is if we raise our voices along with others to give them that platform, to give them that space. I hope I'm saying this well. There are many, many people speaking up about this now who can say it much better than I can. So I suggest you listen to them. Now I'm going to show you some more amazing covers. These covers are not all romance. They're not all sci-fi. They're not all... I tried to find a variety of different kinds of genres that I enjoy, and hopefully you'll find something in there that you like too. Running in the Dark by Inger Iversen. God Smites and Other Muslim Girl Problems by Shara Dean. Ms. Marvel by G. Wilson. Elijah of Buxton by Christopher Paul Curtis. Want by Cindy Pond. So, one of the issues that I think happen, and I've seen this mentioned, is that Publishers think that readers want to be looking in a mirror. And I don't think that's true. I think that some people might want to stay and stare at the reflection in the mirror, and some people are willing to stand aside so that the reflection shows everything around them, all the entire world, rather than just their own little space. So hopefully the more demand is out there, the more publishers will be hiring diverse cover artists and diverse editors and grabbing more books by diverse authors. They'll be reading books that have no representation and saying, yeah, so are they in a little town in the middle of nowhere? No, this character's in New York. Yeah, this character just spent 500 pages and has only met white people? Yeah, that's very unlikely. If you're looking for more resources or other recommendations, there is a newsletter called Queer in Color that Sharita Lita, who is a friend of mine, she actually runs that, and she put it together, and it's amazing. Check that out. The link is in the description. Check out the website, sign up for the newsletter, and you'll get recommendations for all kinds of diverse books. There's also a link to another website in there and some resources that I found. And again, tons and tons of books down there. So if any of them caught your eye, go click on them and share them with everybody. That is one of the things that makes the most impact in this business, is really readers talking about the books they love, sharing them, and just for myself, I've grabbed books just because somebody shared it on Twitter and I saw the cover and I was like, yeah, let's check this out. So if you love a book, make sure to talk about it. Talk about it more than you would your favorite movie or your favorite latte or all the other things that you just naturally talk about. Do the same thing with books, and if publishers hear that people want enough of a certain kind of book, they'll start getting more of them. So the power is literally all in your hands. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, then let me know in the comments. If you have any recommendations for books that you've read and absolutely loved, let me know there too. And oh yeah, like, subscribe, ring that little bell, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.